Bismillah. Let's have a look at this question. It says here a sample, a 25 cm cube sample of lime water is placed in a conical flask. The concentration of calcium hydroxide in the lime water is determined by titration with dilute HCl, hydrochloric acid. So this is a titration. Okay. Let's have a look at the question first. Yeah, we just answer the question first. Name the item of apparatus used to measure the volume of acid in this titration. Maybe this one I would like you to participate. In a titration process, we want to measure the volume of your acid. What instrument or what apparatus do I use it? You got the lime water. Lime water you put in conical flask. What is actually inside the lime water? Calcium hydroxide. Anybody? Can I see the name? Fatima? What is the apparatus that we should use here? I cannot hear you. Fatima?
Yeah, it's just me.
Can't hear you. What is it? Okay, sorry Fatima, I cannot hear you. Yeah? Arid? What apparatus?
I don't know.
You don't know. Gina?
Is it a burette?
Burette, yes. It's a burette, yeah? What you can do, you can actually go back, Google after the class. You Google apparatus for titration. It's very important. Okay? So you can do that yourself. Just Google, and then there is image. Burette, you got conical flask, you got the pipette, and so on. You have to know all these instrument or apparatus. Now, state the type of reaction which takes place. Titration, what is the reaction called? Okay, I'm going to call name, Arid. Fatima? Gina? No idea. Okay.
Neutralization.
Neutralization, yes. Neutralization. So remember that, yeah? So the experiment is called titration. The reaction is called neutralization. It's very easy. Why? Okay, let's go through a bit of a note here, yeah? A bit of some sort like a calcium hydroxide is an alkali solution. Hydrochloric acid, of course, it's an acid, isn't it? Acid. Okay. So what happens if you have acid, you react with alkali, you get salt and water. Yeah, you got salt and water. So there is one thing that you have to remember. We will use this theory. Now, next question. As well as lime water and dilute hydrochloric acid, state what other type of substance must be added to the conical flask. Okay, now you know this is a titration experiment, neutralization. Besides putting your lime water, which is your alkali, and acid, dilute acid, what else that you have to put in the conical flask? Any answer? Anybody can answer. Gina.
An indicator.
Indicator. Okay. Those who forgot about it, now is the time for you to remember. Don't get stressed. That's why you're learning. Okay. Whoever can answer, halas. Whoever cannot, now you have to remember. You have to put in the conical flask an indicator. Okay, what type of indicator normally we use? Methyl orange. You can use methyl orange, although they didn't ask, yeah? Or you can use phenolphthalein, yeah? Phenolphthalein. Okay, I don't know how to spell phenolphthalein, yeah? Something like this. Maybe an L there. Okay, phenolphthalein and methyl orange. This is the usual indicator that we use, although they didn't ask. You don't need to tell them. So the answer is indicator only. Now, let's check on the equation. The equation for the reaction is shown. They're already kind enough to give it to you. Calcium hydroxide plus hydrochloric acid. What do you get? The salt is actually calcium chloride and water. Okay. They say 20 cm cube of 0.0500 mole per dm cube HCl reacts with 25 cm cube of calcium hydroxide. Determine the concentration of calcium hydroxide in gram per dm cube. Use the following step. So they're already kind enough to do the step for you. So nowadays, I don't know, this is last year, yeah? In the old days, we have to figure out the steps ourselves. But now they guide us to do it. So what is the purpose? The purpose is to determine the concentration of calcium hydroxide in gram per dm cube. Even though you don't know what you're doing, it's okay because they ask you to follow the steps. Okay. What is the first step? Calculate the number of mole in 20 cm cube of 0.05 mole per dm cube of acid. Even if you don't know what you're doing, just calculate number of mole. So remember, what is the formula to find number of mole? N equals to mass over, okay, sorry, mass over. N equals to concentration, yeah, sorry, I did a mistake there. Capital M is concentration and volume. N equals to MV. N equals to MV. Remember, in titration, we don't use N equals to M over AR or MR, yeah? That's a different formula. For this calculation, we have to use N equals to MV. M is the concentration, V is the volume. Except that there is, I like to change the volume directly. The volume that you have to use is in this decimeter cube. So 25 divided by 1000. Okay. I would suggest people to avoid careless mistake to calculate this directly, convert it, yeah? Before we even use the formula. So this is the best step. Because if you were to mix your, calculation with a lot of, things, so you tend to do careless mistake. Trust me, yeah? So this is dm cube. dm cube. So to be able to use the formula, you have to change your volume. This is one of the common mistakes some people did because they forgot to convert the volume in dm cube. Okay, halas, then if that is the case, can I just directly insert this? Yes, I can. What's the molarity just now or the concentration? Oh, sorry. Did a mistake here. Not this volume, eh? We don't use that volume. 20. 0.20. Be very careful. Don't do the careless mistake. Look at the question again. There you go. Here. Okay. Here. There you go. 20. The 25 cm cube is actually the calcium hydroxide. So this is the acid. Okay. We're finding the number of mole of the acid. Right. What's the molarity of your acid? 0.05. 0.05 multiplied by what's the volume in the m cube that we found? 0.02. Okay, 0.02. Get calculator. 0.5 times. Check. 0.05 times 0.02. Always check what you key in your calculator. Sometimes in the exam, because of anxiety, I don't know, you click the wrong number. Although you know what to do, but you did a careless mistake. There you go. So the unit is small, so you just put your answer here, 0.020, yeah, 0.01. 0.001. Careful, yeah. Check. Okay. Next, determine the number of mole of calcium hydroxide in 25 cm cube of the lime water. Okay. So now we have to calculate the number of mole of my calcium hydroxide. Now I cannot use the same formula, N equals to mv for my lime water, although the volume of my lime water is given. Why? Because the concentration of the lime water, I don't know. As easy as that. Now one might say, so how then? Okay, go back to your equation. Go back to your equation. Okay, we have to use mole ratio here. So this one is 1 mole. This one is, how many mole can you see? 2 mole. How do you know? Look at the number in front of the compound or in front of the acid. So that's why I said previously, I don't know whether I said with you or not, a chemical equation, the symbol equation representing like a recipe. Yeah, a recipe for chemical reaction. Why? It gives you the number of mole. In chemistry, okay, quantity wise, normally we will use number of mole. If it's in gram or if it's in volume, we will definitely use number of mole. So a balanced chemical equation is very important. I'm only interested at the number of mole of my calcium hydroxide and my acid. So what do we need to do? Okay, we have to use mole ratio. That's what I did. To save time, I already written here. Mole ratio between my acid and my calcium hydroxide. We already have it written here, yeah. Now look at the equation. 2 mole acid reacts with 1 mole of my calcium hydroxide. So the ratio between my acid and my calcium hydroxide is 2:1. Okay, if that is the case, I want to find what? I want to find determine the number of mole of my calcium hydroxide. This one. Okay, so now we need to do a comparison. What is the actual number of mole of my acid? Is actually 0.01, the one that we calculated just now. So you put under the acid 0.01. This is the actual. This is the formula, yeah? This is from the formula. So you got 0.01 mole. So the ratio is 2:1. Okay, let's say, in order to understand this, I know that some of you know this, but it's no harm to go through this. Let's say this is, I don't know, let's say this is 1. Definitely your brain automatically calculating for me, this should be 0.5, correct? If this is 10, automatically you know this is 5. Yeah. And if this is actually 4, automatically you can calculate directly this is 2. How do you calculate? Divided by 2. All of divided by 2. If this is 10, 10 divided by 2, you get 5. That's how we calculate it. So in other words, in order to get the number of mole of my calcium hydroxide, all I need to do is whatever that I got from my calculation just now, divided by 2. Okay, so get my calculator. You don't have to calculate it in your mental arithmetic. No need to use now in your IGs. You can use calculator. There you go. 0 point, because sometimes you tend to do mistake because of the 0. Yeah, be very careful. 30. There you go. So the answer here is actually 0.0005 mole. Okay. So in other words, in order to find the number of mole of my calcium hydroxide, I cannot use N equals to MV as easy as Y, because molarity or concentration of my calcium hydroxide, I don't know. And in fact, in the question itself, you are the one to determine the concentration. This is the step that we're doing now is actually the 2 step to do what? To find the number or the concentration of my calcium hydroxide. Right. So it says here, calculate the concentration of my calcium hydroxide. There is the one that, okay, we do need to do this. So we got the number of mole for both acid. Then I got the number of mole of my calcium hydroxide. So from here, we have to go backwards. So in order to find what is the concentration, I know the volume is 25 cm cube calcium hydroxide. Yeah. So what you need to do, convert this into same thing, yeah, because we want to use the formula after this. So the volume here equals to same thing, convert it into the m cube, 0.00 okay, 0.1025 the m cube. Just use a calculator. Convert the volume of your calcium hydroxide. Lime water is calcium hydroxide. So we can now use the formula N equals to mv. We can use this formula. What are we trying to find? The molarity, which is the concentration. I would prefer you to move your volume to the other side. So N over V equals to M. It would be easier for you to calculate, yeah? So M equals to, just rearrange. I'm doing nothing fancy, yeah? Rearrange this. So M equals to NV. Okay, insert the value. What's the number of mole of my calcium hydroxide that I got? 0.0000. Don't forget the 0. Divided by the volume that I calculated just now. Which volume? There, lime water or the calcium hydroxide. 0.025. Okay, divided by 0. We 2 minutes. Yeah, give me 2 minutes and we will finish this, inshallah. Right, 0.005 divided by 0.25. There you go, 0.02. 0.02. The unit is already given to you, so I just need to 0.02. That's your answer. Okay, all of this, how many marks? Now this is actually in mole per dm cube. We're not done yet, yeah? Not done yet. I'm just going to, this is a note that I did. We just need to go through this note afterwards, yeah? So I'm just going to put it somewhere up here first. Right, we're not done yet. All together is actually a 5 marks. So we only got 3 marks here. Now we have to determine the concentration of calcium hydroxide in gram per dm cube. All right, gram per dm cube. So what you need to do here is that you got 0.02 mole. It's very easy. Just find the MR for calcium hydroxide. So we have to calculate that, yeah? That's why it's a 2 marks. So find the MR. You have to show this calculation, yeah? Calculation MR, Ca, OH, 2 of that. Quickly, we just need to calculate this. Bismillah. What is actually the relative atomic mass for calcium? Anybody know? You don't need to memorize this. It's actually in the periodic table, yeah? I forgot as well, yeah? So, mass number for calcium. Let me check first from the periodic table. It's actually 40. Okay, 40. We put 40 here. And then plus the mass of now you have to calculate one at a time. You go like oxygen. How many oxygen? 2 of that. Mass of oxygen is very common. You don't have to memorize. It's actually 16. Get it from the periodic table. What else? You got oxygen to oxygen. You got hydrogen. So how many of hydrogen? 2 as well. Okay, that's how you calculate the MR. And what is the mass number for hydrogen? 1, yeah? No need to memorize, periodic table. Maybe you want to simplify this. So 40 plus 32 plus 2. Or you can just insert it directly in your calculator. So 40 plus, I have simplified this, yeah? Okay, 74. So the MR is 74. There you go. What do you need to do with the number of moles now? Mole per dm cube. You want to find in gram per dm cube. You just convert the number of mole. 0.2. You just multiply it by the MR. There you go. Multiply by the MR. 74 times 0.02. There you go. 1.48. 1.4. Okay. So you can say, just say concentration. I just put M, yeah? So M is equals to, in gram per dm cube would be 1.48 gram per dm cube. Then put the answer here, 1.48. There you go. All right. So we are done. Alhamdulillah. So what is actually the thing that I would like to stress here? Let's have a look at the notes first here. Calculation is not that difficult. Now we got titration, neutralization, reaction, acid plus alkali. You get salt and water. So this is actually some example that I did with others, yeah. And what else? Methyl orange. We use phenolphthalein or methyl orange. Endpoint. So if you were to use endpoint for phenolphthalein, for example, yeah, phenolphthalein, the endpoint will be for this case, yeah. I'm not talking about the question. I don't know. Cannot see it here. It's true. There you go. Okay, just forget about it. Next time, maybe I'll do a topic on its own, yeah. So I think we're done here, inshallah. Okay, we're done, alhamdulillah.